What's up, mechanics? Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to another episode of Tool Tuesday here at the VM Tools headquarters. As promised, we're going to be doing questions today. We've had a few episodes where we haven't done any questions, so there's a lot for us to cover. And before we get into that, we have something new that we want to show and talk about for all of you dealers out there. If you've seen us at any of the shows recently, there's only been one, really. So you'll be seeing us at shows soon, and you'll get to see this in person. But this is what we call the Dealer Service Kit, part number DSK1. And this is for dealers who want to have more access to the VIM components that they may need to warranty out for sets that they've sold to their customers. If you don't want to wait for your warehouse to ship the product and you got to wait a week to warranty out a piece to your customer, you can now have it on the truck. We're going to have a few different ones. This is the first. This is the first DSK1, which is drivers. This is
bits and drivers.
Yeah.
This is all bits and drivers. Your most popular 167 pieces that we saw that were either sold or warrantied out. So we took our sales numbers from the last 3 years, compiled all that, and got averages, and we based how many of each size and part number are in the kit off of that. So you have plenty of T30, plenty of T25, T40s, the most popular stuff you have multiples of. You'll have ones and twos of the less popular stuff, and then one of the somewhat rare stuff. But I think it's a pretty good mix of items for a dealer to carry on their truck and not have to worry about not having inventory for their customers when they come on the truck. And you can easily see that it's all labeled here. So you see the back has the size that you have to worry about. So the guy's like, I need my T40 out of XXX set. You go, all right, so you go to the T40 box right here, boom. Now you have each part number separated into their own bags, and then each individual piece inside that bag is its own, so that it's like a normal inventory, so that a dealer doesn't have to worry about mixing things up. Everything's labeled individually. You have 3 different types of T40s in that T40 slot.
We're trying to make it as easy as possible for the dealer to service the VIM sets that he's selling on the truck. And we're doing that in a couple ways. Not just this, but with the QR codes that are on our packaging. So if somebody has a blow mold case, let's say they have a socket set in a blow mold case, they can scan the QR code. It'll tell them what part number they need. They bring that to their dealer. The dealer, having a dealer service kit, can just grab one directly from his box, hand it to his customer within a few seconds. Rather than having to wait, or rather than having your customer come to the truck and just hand it to you, you got to figure out the part number, all of this round and round. So this should make it super easy. We're going to follow up with repair kit, service kits. We're going to have one for sockets, and we're going to cover a wide range of the most popular things that you would need to warranty on the truck.
This is actually something we used to do a lot back in the early 2000s with our TMS 34PF and our HMS 26. It was a metal box, and it was, it was one of each, but we had our sets were a lot more limited back then. There were not nearly as many of them, and obviously things were cheaper. So a metal box with one of each was the easiest way to do that. But now we had to take the numbers based on all the sets we have, so that the dealer isn't inventorying 7 of these. The dealer has to inventory one part number, so they get that on the truck and they have access to all of these. And of course, some of them are going to be sold off the truck. Say a guy needs a T30, you could sell him a T30. Not everything's for warranty, but you are able to service those who are warranting products. So hypothetically, if you're using them for warranties, it's not costing you anything because you're getting that back into credit once you warranty it out.
So ask your warehouse about the VIM Tools dealer service kits.
Because they are in stock now and shipping out, and some warehouses already pre-ordered them, so I think they're going to be a very hot item. You're going to see them at shows in the middle of the year, but by then it might be a little bit too late to get yours quickly. So make sure you put your orders in, pay attention, reach out to your sales rep, get on board with these.
There's 167 pieces in here, so it covers a lot. You'll have a lot on the truck to be able to service not just one customer, but multiple, and over a long period of time, because as we know, you're not getting VIM bits and drivers every day. So that's the DSK1, the dealer service kit. Look out for more of them. Come see us at the show. We'll be able to show it to you and talk about it in person, but we got questions to answer.
Also, it comes in an SCL, a storage case large. We have this available for sale. If anyone asks you while they're on the truck if this organization system is for sale, you also have the SES, which is the smaller version of it. This is a 20 slot. The smaller is a 15 slot. The cups are interchangeable. It's a pretty cool system. You might want to check those out too. We're going to dive into the questions from last week because we had a lot of them on the dual drive universal spring loaded sockets. The 3 sets. We had the E-Torx, We had the SAE 12-point and the metric hex 6-point. So we had a decent amount of questions about those, and I believe they caused a little bit of a ride here. So I'm going to answer and rattle through some of these. So Ricardo asked, still waiting on 12-point SAE sockets for aviation and a ratchet set. Basic tools for everyday work, hard to support companies when you don't have the tools that the job requires. We do have 12-point SAE sockets. We showed them on this video. If you're referring to regular 12-point SAE sockets, that we do not have just yet. But that is because the aviation market does not. Because 12-point SAE sockets are not as common, you will need to manufacture around 4,000 pieces per run, which means you're going to have to sell a lot of 12-point SAE sockets, which isn't the case because the aviation market doesn't depend on it as much. We do have the one set because it is specialty, and that is why we brought that out, trying to test the market. Of course, if that 12-point SAE version really takes off, then of course there's a market for it. So we will move on to a regular 12-point SAE socket set.
And not to say that they're not using 12-point SAE.
It's just not as
but
popular.
there's not a market for it for us, for
Or our
Vim,
brand, of
yet.
course.
Because everybody's buying the brands that they have used for a while already, and so if Vim comes out with a 12-point SAE socket set, it'll be kind of slow for a while. So we're working into it. Our dual drive universals are 12-point SAE.
You got to pick each battle individually. So we're moving forward with some caution because you want to make sure that you're not overdoing it and opening yourself up to some liability of having stock that doesn't move. So Mr. Philip Moody said that he sees that we have 3/8 drive dual drive sockets coming out, but he doesn't see any 17mm dual drive ratchets. We will be coming out with a couple of variations of a 17mm for those 3/8 drive dual drives. But he also did ask for a 21mm for half inch. That is something we're not working on just yet. That is not what we have in the plans just yet, but the 3/8 is the next step for sure. Triple squares should be purple. That's all he gave to go off of. He just wanted them to be purple.
What are our triple squares on right now?
They're blue. Because it's the reason we do that, by the way, is because all things metric are measured in, or all things that we have that are metric are blue. Triple squares technically are measured in millimeters because it's the triple square size is this That's why we
put it on the blue rail.
The blue, because it just keeps uniformity. But he also did mention that we need a half-inch drive impact dual drive, stubby, hex, and Torx bit sockets. Interesting. Why half-inch, I wonder? I don't know why you would need them in half. I mean, how big do you want them to go? Because we do have a pretty hefty 50-piece 3/8 square drive that goes up to T60? T50?
T55, I think.
T50, which, I mean, if you, obviously there's people who need bigger than that, but stubby and half-inch drive, it just, sometimes they don't really go together, but what size range are you looking for? Because that is a big help. Tools are really good, but the laser etching sucks on all brands. They need to be stamped. I know it's more tooling, but it is worth it. So not only is it more tooling, it is actually such a hard process that it's very inconsistent because it's so small that stamping something that small, including your part number, which is somewhat long, as well as the Vim logo, while it's on that super shallow socket, it normally comes out very inconsistent and doesn't come out correctly, if it works at all, that is. There are multiple manufacturers that choose laser etching because it's simply not worth it financially, and in terms of their brand recognition, it does not look as good as you'd think it would look. Ideally, it would be stamped if it were possible to make it clean, but in this case, it wasn't. We did multiple samples of it being stamped, and it did not look good, and it was much more difficult to do.
We did look into it because the laser etching being that small, it is harder to read. Just simply wasn't possible. We had to go the laser etching route.
And that's not to say that we don't agree with you. The stamping does look way better. But in this case, for those reasons, laser etching is how we had to go. There we go. Just ordered the 12-point SAE dual drive universal sockets. If you're an aircraft mechanic, these are a must-have. All right, so yes, the 12-point SAE dual drive sockets are a must when it comes to aircraft technicians because the space on those aircrafts is much more limited, so that 12-point design is normally the better route to go, if not the fastener allowing you to only use those.
Well, yeah, and not only that, but the dual drive design,
Makes it
meaning that the UJs don't have any height added to them, i.e. putting a ratchet on it. You can throw it in a wrench, so you can get into even tighter spaces. Which
is huge. Someone asked if we plan on making extra long dual drive wrenches. The answer is yes. That is in the works. That is what's coming. We have a few designs that I think it's different than what's out there already. It's a matter of trying to manufacture it without making the cost ridiculous because there's so many moving parts to it.
You could
It's a
say.
very cool version of these wrenches. The issue would be the cost, and that is a determining factor in whether or not we move forward with it. We're trying to figure out how to make it cost effective because the way we're doing it is going to be expensive.
Yeah. It's a multi-length version we're working on.
Yeah, multi-length and multi-directional. Anyways, yes, there's stuff coming. Whether how intricate it's going to be, not sure yet, but there is something coming. How about doing a complete build of a car from Factory 5, maybe the Cobra or the pickup? Then you could display the finished car at SEMA to help showcase what can be done with VIM tools. So, the reason I said that is because the plan is to eventually do something neat with our own hands and our own tools that will be displayed at SEMA. But we do plan on demoing a car at SEMA here, whether this year or next year, but we will start doing that. This one is directed at Michael, clearly. When I used to work or volunteer at conventions, the biggest things that actually helped me prevent from getting sick is that I stopped getting drunk every night and actually started getting some sleep instead of going out for a few days. Excessive alcohol consumption compromises your immune response, and so does sleep deprivation.
Okay, I want to know who you are and what information do you have. I'd like some proof.
Shots fired.
If you're going to throw shots, you need to come with some proof.
He knows. You look like one of those guys.
You need to come with some proof.
All right.
You can't just call me a drunk.
Oh, he did. I did that. So, Jason Feaster mentioned that he really wishes we didn't have the e-torques in just the universal joints. So we do already have dual drive stubby e-torque sockets that are not universal. They are private label items, but they will be VIM items soon. So they are already available in other brands, but we will be bringing them out in the VIM brand here coming soon. I don't have a date for you, so don't ask, but your questions have been answered. Get you a Euro car so you can show off them triple squares. That's a very logical answer.
That is a good. I would like an E36 BMW.
Of course you would. But you and me an E36 BMW, it ain't going too far.
It's just gonna be.
It's gonna be fucking.
So you gotta put it on bags.
It's a big bag. Is there a 7/16 in the SE kit now? Yes, sir, there is. We made sure before we released them to add those sizes. Gotta wait for my Snap-on guy to get more mag rails. I get my VIM stuff through him since I have a balance on the truck already, so I could just add it. They're a bit pricey, but they are the best rails around. That is a perfect description of them. Yes, they're not the cheapest rails out on the market. They are a little bit up there in price, but nobody ever buys them and then complains about how expensive they are because they are the best thing out there. If you have not tried those mag rails out, I highly recommend that you do. Because if it's being sold on the Snap-on truck and it's not a Snap-on branded item, there's a reason for it. Because it is a high quality product. So I recommend you try out our mag rails, which come in 7 different colors, 4 different sizes, 2 different widths.
We have tons of videos on mag rails here, so just search mag rail if you haven't seen them before. You'll see a bunch of videos on them.
And those are all the questions we have from that last video. So I think we did a pretty good job of going through them pretty thoroughly. I hope all your questions were answered. Again, this is a big way for us to learn and move forward as to what we're doing next. So I encourage everyone to comment as much as you can because that helps us have a direct line of contact with you about what we are doing next.
We have some more travel coming up tomorrow and like 2 weeks from now and then a couple weeks from then. So it's going to be a busy couple months for us here.
We can tell them what we're doing. We're visiting we're going to work on our USA made line is what we're doing this week. We're going to pretty much start off with 12 ratchets and 5 different extension sets. So it's a pretty big release coming up soon. I'm not going to give any details, but that is what you get for now.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing that for like the next week, and then we got some more shows after that. So we're going to try and squeeze in as much Tool Tuesday as we can.
You might get some on the road?
Over the next few months. Yep, we'll probably do one on the road. But anyways, so just stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of new products this year, and a few that we haven't even shown yet. So we'll have some for you hopefully next Tool Tuesday. And until then, we'll see you later.
Peace.